let's look at a team from the point of view of a group which requires to achieve an objective. Right? Now, if you look at a team from this perspective, you will see that the team requires certain kinds of individuals. For instance, it requires a coordinator. Now, the coordinator is a person who is broadly acceptable to people within the group. It's a person who is balanced in his views, a person who is not extreme in his views, a person whose behavior is pleasant, a person who can induce cooperation from others. Such a person is a coordinator. Now, a functioning team, an effective team, needs one person who performs the role of a coordinator. Okay? Right. Now, you would all have seen that in certain teams, there are people who are very extroverted, who interact with others, who spur others to come up with ideas, who spur action in the group, in the team, right? Now, this is a shaper. Such an individual is a shaper, right? Now, the team requires a shaper if it is to be effective. There are people in teams who are introverted but are full of ideas. Okay? They are thinkers. They're introverted, all right, but if you get them to talk, they come up with very, very interesting ideas. These are the planters. A team requires a planter to generate ideas, that the shaper in turn can spur, can work on. Then there are some kinds of people who are very good at dissecting ideas, at evaluating ideas, at taking an idea, breaking it down into its elements, seeing whether it's a useful idea. Now, in doing this, they may sometimes be fairly tactless people. They may be offensive people. But for an effective team, it's important to have a person who is an evaluator. You need a person with this kind of orientation. Then there is the implementer. The team, after all, has number of people in it, right? This entire process of decision making needs to be administered. The team may require external data, or sometimes some of the team members need to be reminded about the kind of inputs that they can bring in from an earlier situation. So, such coordination is done by the administrator, right? This is working coordination. We are talking about working coordination. That's the implementer, okay? And then there is the finisher. So the finisher is again a very, very critical element in an effective team. So what happens is that once the team is constituted, once the team is given a particular objective and a particular deadline, pretty soon people forget about the deadline, because the discussion is so interesting, so many different kinds of ideas get generated, these ideas are evaluated, you know. So in that whole process, this deadline is forgotten. The finisher is the kind of person who is paranoid about deadlines. It's absolutely important to have a person like this in the team to ensure that the team reaches its objective in the given time. So, an effective team requires people who perform these different kinds of roles. These roles are not explicitly or formally attached to people, but for the team to be effective, you need people who act in this manner.